you click the little arrow by your camera, it says virtual background. And you can add your own custom ones.
Hey.
Yeah, but the quality of the camera and the lighting makes a big difference. Like my old one.
Hey, I'm
used to do this, but
look at me. Hey,
I'm a piece of grass.
I'm a freaking caterpillar. Oh. No fun zone. Check it out.
This should be the intro clip.
This might be edited in there at some point, but what's up? No fun zone. Check it out. Technology.
Hey.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that.
Dogs are going nuts, dude.
Rollo, Mance, chill the fuck out. We are recording at this point. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome once again.
Maybe your video's frozen on my side. Is it frozen again? There. Oh, that's right. So weird, man.
I think I just need to keep moving for the whole podcast.
Like you stop moving, and then it's just like, oh, we don't need to keep camera going. Nothing's changed.
I'll scoot the camera a little bit forward so I'm a little bit closer. All right, take 2. Quiet on set, Rollo and Mance. What's up, everybody? Welcome, I guess, maybe once again to the No Fun Zone podcast, or maybe for the first time. We're here with another episode. I got Charlie on the horn with me. Say hello.
Hello. I thought you were asking if it was my first time.
It might be.
First time,
but it's definitely not. Anyway, first time caller, long time listener, or something like that. Either way, what's up? We're gonna do I don't know. This is a somewhat impromptu and not fully researched out, but I think we're gonna talk about parallel universes. Which, fuck yeah with parallel universes. All right, do you have anywhere that you want to jump off of, Charlie?
There's a parallel universe where these fucking dogs are sleeping.
Well, that's not the universe we happen to be living in.
I'm just kidding.
Currently.
As long as they don't break anything,
I'm sure they'll be fine.
They like breaking stuff.
Yeah, they're dogs. That's kind of what they're designed to do, is break stuff. We've talked about parallel. Notice that radio voice right there? And, we've talked about this before. And no, but you and I have had conversations before about the general idea of parallel universes. So let's start with the question, what are we going to define sort of as parallel universes? Is it interdimensional, which I do think is very interesting, that there's other dimensional universes out there, or just simply copies and sort of slight differences within the copies of universes?
Yeah. I mean, thinking of what it is conceptually versus what it is like in a scientific physical sense, it's kind of different for me. Conceptually, I like to think of like parallel universes as just like branches in time. Like from whatever the beginning of time was, there's just, all these branches of like every decision or every, probability outcome that happened. And it's just been branching ever since, right?
So that's the many worlds theory within quantum mechanics, is that like every time you interact with an electron, it either has an up spin or a down spin or a right spin or a left spin or whatever. But that creates 2 branches of the universe.
I mean, it's all theoretical, but it's, not quite, like you said earlier, it's a little bit more acceptable just to think about and talk about the scientific realm. I mean, one of the early leaders in this was Stephen Hawking and talking about multidimensional possibilities.
Yeah, was that in a Brief History of Time, or?
Yeah, I haven't read that in forever, but I'm remembering, the concept of dimensions beyond like what we perceive, right?
Well, so that's kind of what I wanted to sort of delve into, I guess, at the beginning, is the difference of, I mean, quantum physicists and astrophysicists, I think they say that there's like 11 or 13 dimensions other than our own, mathematically proven, I guess, quote unquote. I don't even know, quote unquote. I don't know enough about them, but I feel like there's a distinction between dimensions and other realities stacked sort of on top of each other versus the idea of that sort of parallel universe and that splitting of the universe, not necessarily by choices, but by quantum mechanics and an atom moving one way and moving another way. And that creates sort of that not neural, but I guess it is sort of somewhat neural, how it's sort of expanding, but like that branch structure. Whereas I think Hawking was more talking about dimensional different universes and things that we just literally can't perceive. Whereas I feel like, from what I gather, the other universes that branch off in many worlds theory, we have the senses and the capabilities to experience that universe. Like, it's not a totally unseeable universe for us because we don't have the specific receptors for that. It's just a different branch, and it's sort of a different pathway that the same universe is sort of going down. Whereas interdimensional, like, a 2D being wouldn't be able to comprehend the idea of a three-dimensional world. Whereas we're three-dimensional beings that exist through time, which is technically the fourth dimension, but we just don't have the brain power or the apparatus physically to be able to see that next sort of dimension. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always, expected time as the fourth dimension and like a being who is able to relive the past, like to like a literal point, and maybe predict the future extremely accurately and like experience it in some way, right? Their mind is powerful enough that their imagination makes them experience it. Like that could be a way of traversing the fourth dimension of time. You know what I mean? Like you still have where you're at, but you're able to move freely in either direction, which is interesting.
But that's the same kind of like, that's that same trope of like what an indigo child is. Which maybe like, yeah, that might be an explanation for why young kids have imaginary friends, or that they see monsters under the bed or something like that. Is maybe young kids and the way their mind is formed, they're able to sort of tap into that other dimension that we are not able to as an adult. I always thought that was really
interesting.
Yeah, I always thought that was a really interesting point of just like, maybe just the way their brains are wired and they're so influential. Like, I mean, maybe it's just imagination. Most likely probably that, as opposed to they're tapping into another dimension with other beings. But also,
it's fun to think about.
Yeah, dude. That's the whole point of this podcast, is for anybody fucking listening, don't take anything we say here as any documentable fact or any real translation of like what really happened. This is the fucking No Fun Zone podcast. We're not here to deliver truth and news to you. We're here to spark your mind and make you think about stuff. And that's...
You're still breaking up in your videos, freezing in great positions.
I had such a good fucking rant there too. Don't come to us for facts. You come to us for fun. Would you concur?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're smart and we can figure things out. We can have intellectual conversations, but it's peppered with a dash of dumb.
Oh yeah.
That's
but
like
a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. A dash of gum, whole lot of fun. I'm gonna totally edit Charlie doing that and turn it into something.
Oh, that's bad, isn't it? All right.
Yeah, don't you
find memes myself now?
Do you regret giving up editorial power?
I never gave up. I did say I want final veto power.
You do have final veto power, but that does not qualify within veto rules. You doing this on camera? No, that doesn't qualify.
No, that was a gimme.
Be clipped, and that's going to be saved. Clip it. But going back to the matter at hand, so parallel universes. We're back to serious now. We had
super serious. Speaking of serious, Rick and Morty.
Haven't watched the new season.
But is there a new one?
I just know that I haven't watched the newest one, and I think that came out within the last year. But either way, yeah, that's what's so good about Rick and Morty is it's kind of doing the same thing, but in a more professional and fun environment than we are.
Well, and I think that it's just those guys are exploring this idea of unlimited creativity.
Yeah.
There are no rules to anything.
Yeah.
Just open a portal, go to a different universe, and make up whatever the fuck you want. Who knows?
I love when they open up a portal and it's just nothing but farting butts. And just little small jokes like that. Well, that's actually a really good metaphor because that is such a show sort of designed for smart people, where it's it is dealing with complex philosophical and also physical theories and stuff, and the idea of having an infinite number of different universes to jump to. And it does deal with very sort of I don't know, it's a very smart show that sort of portrays itself as a very dumb show, which is
a lot of the literal things that they do or say in the show are kind of sarcastic or exaggerated and not based in science, but they're obviously demonstrating their intelligence and grasping of the subject, just conceptually how they have Rick infinitely spawn himself and work as a team, and just thinking about it at that scale, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a cool definition of the differences of intelligences. There isn't just one intelligence. They always the saying is he's got book smarts or he's got street smarts.
Yeah,
but it's still also emotional intelligence, awareness. There's a lot of other factors that are encapsulated into a person's overall kind of, I don't know, being, or how they present themselves and how they carry themselves in the world. And that's something that a lot of those things we're not able to test for you can on an SAT score, or an ACT score, or an IQ test. Even if you score super high on an IQ test, it's oh, you're probably really good at visual acuity, or whatever the test is a little bit more sort of focused on, or problem solving.
Well, there's things that about because of experience, and then there's the natural acuity or ability to do things. Danny is one of the most naturally coordinated people I've ever met in my life. Danny can just jump on whatever and figure it out, whether he's doing backflips or he's trying to do skateboard tricks, and he's just naturally ready to go. It's not black and white, like you said. It's not book smart, street smart. I think those are kind of obvious side by side categories, but there are subgroups, I think, that we try to define in society, and the engineer mindset, I think, is what that would fall under. When I was a little kid playing with Jenga blocks, playing with Lincoln Logs and Legos, and
shout out to Lincoln Logs,
Tinker Toys. What was the one that you just said?
Lincoln Logs.
The Erector set.
Erector set.
I'm just trying to think of all of them.
Hold on, but still, just fucking a whole heap of a shout out to Lincoln Logs. when I was 4 years old, that was my favorite shit on the goddamn planet. That was the best thing ever. And generations today, they have a piece of that, like young kids today, but it's a virtual. It's like Minecraft, not Minecraft. Minecraft. Let me speak.
Or Valheim is the new one.
Okay. I wish I had my soundboard up. I'd throw out a nerd alert.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I don't know how. Okay, we've gotten very off topic, and that's fine, and I like that, and it's enjoyable.
Where are we?
We're supposed to talk about parallel universes, and
But what were we talking about right now? I forgot. Like where have we?
Now we're talking about fucking, the engineer mindset versus.
Oh yeah.
Sort of. So okay.
Oh no, I wanted to share a quote. Sorry, before you move on.
Okay.
You're talking about the different, types of intelligence, and kind of like it being more of a spectrum. And there's that old quote that people said was Einstein, but I don't know where it actually came from. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life believing that it's stupid. And that's like the standardized testing, is kind of really difficult.
Yeah, but also fucking figure out how to climb the tree. Okay? Climbing trees isn't that hard. Monkeys do it. That's not a sign of intelligence. Monkeys climb trees. They're fucking dumb as shit. No, I totally get it. I know. I'm playing this for jokes and for laughs. I understand that like the fish does not have the physical capabilities to climb.
We could let this just evolve into pure sarcasm, but that wouldn't be very fun.
Yeah, it would.
Would it?
It would be so much fun to just be sarcastic. Dude, it would be so much fucking fun if we were just sarcastic on this and if we never actually made any points.
I don't even understand what you're saying right now.
Well, if we just were only sarcastic and only tried to make points, that I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah, like anyone's going to want to watch that shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Nobody's going to watch this. Nobody's going to enjoy us being sarcastic for 45 minutes. No, I definitely... Okay. Sarcasm segment over. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might be just slightly autistic.
I think that those classifications as a spectrum, everybody's there somewhere, right? But there are like extreme values and like negligible zero values. And I think there's just like the average of people for some of these are just, out of like 1,000, they're like between 0 and 5.
It's
but then when you get up to like 50 or 100, maybe you start to notice. I mean, Leo, not autistic, but bipolar is like, I'm on the low end of the bipolar spectrum, but he's on the more extreme end.
Yeah, and for the most part, with anything that's classified in like the DSM-5 and classified psychologically, for the most part, like pretty much everything exists on a spectrum. You can have high functioning OCD, you can have high functioning autism, you can have, you can have high functioning lungs or low functioning lungs, which apparently I have at the moment. But everything exists within that spectrum, and the true sort of I guess defining moment is when it starts to have negligible effects on your life, is when it's sort of more considered a disorder where you're not able to sort of function.
Yeah.
Normally. Yeah. I think I might have high functioning autism.
Yeah, I've been curious about, looking into some of those similar things. Just in general, I've been trying to understand my mind, my strengths and my weaknesses, and how my brain works is very unique and been kind of a clusterfuck the last few years with everything going on, personal and world shit, right? So I'm curious. I'm talking to more people, and there's a SPECT scan. You ever heard of that? SPECT. I don't. Maybe there's a T on the end. My mom was talking about that and how I don't know. I've heard some doctors that say it's good or that it's not as good as it says, but I'm curious about it. Like it's supposed to do like some deep like brain analysis and have a lot of indicators for some of these things.
Well, it's more like, I don't know. You can take a PET scan or an fMRI scan. They're not going to, we don't have a way of 100% determining all of your brain functions. Like the brain is so goddamn complicated. We just do not have a way of being able to be like, oh yeah, take this and then you'll know everything that's either wrong or good about you or whatever. But in my
part of what makes it so cool. But they're making progress and just trying to understand at whatever level we're at.
Yeah. We've circled off the topic so hard. I don't even know if we can wrangle this back in.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's been close to 45, right?
Something like that.
I still gotta make food. We stumbled into a parallel universe and we forgot about our parallel universe subject.
No, we just both have ADHD and we can't concentrate on a single topic for that long. I think that's more of what this is. This is the problem.
All right. It makes me. I really want to read Brief History of Time again after having this conversation. I totally forgot about that book.
All right. Well, I guess
we should.
Let's reconvene for an actual conversation.
Back to our corners.
This turned in to an interesting conversation, but nothing close to what was initially planned or talked about.
It was like at least started with a big chunk of that, right?
Yeah, but even then it was still like
that's how all these things end up.
Yeah, but this got off the rails. I smoked a little bit too much weed before this. I had already had a long day. I had expected time to be able to sit down and sort of contemplate my thoughts and sort of gather myself. And that didn't happen, and that's fine. And it's fine. But yeah, this went off in a good way. I'm not saying this in a negative aspect, but for sure, this went off the rails. We talked about 15 different topics.
I don't know. I take everything you say seriously, and I'm pretty offended.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and contact the lawyers here at No Fun Zone Podcast. Their email address is at gmail.com. And we'll see how they respond.
Gonna write a very sternly worded email and fax it to him. Wait.
Better than that, paint a strongly painted picture.
Watercolor or finger paint?
This is an off the walls.
All right.
This is an off the walls podcast. I don't know what time we're actually at. I forgot to set my timer. This is gonna be nuts to edit because this is all over the place.
And maybe just do it raw. Like just maybe pull out a couple of minor pieces. I don't think you're gonna need to edit much.
I'm gonna have to do it at least mostly raw so people follow the train of just inconsequential thought that we had. This was a meeting of two absolutely insane minds that are not able to focus on a fucking goddamn thing. I don't even know what's happening at this point. I feel like I want to record more just to have more things to be able to cut in, but I also feel like I don't know if that's going to help anything. Does that make sense? Just, dude. I said this podcast. I said that this was going to be like, oh, let's just jump on and we'll just do 45 real quick and we won't have to edit that much. And this is probably going to turn into the most edited podcast that I've done because it's so all over the place. But makes okay. All right. Charlie, do you have anything else you would like to say on parallel universes?
I do, but I think we should reconvene at a separate time. I got a bunch of work messages I've been muted and need to get back.
All right. Well, let's give just like a little teaser for the next episode. What's one thing that you have a thought on, but you don't want to necessarily just, fully dredge out right now? But what's just a thought that you're thinking right now about parallel universes that we can use as our jumping off point for the next one, which I'm sure is going to be so much more focused and defined in our topic. Go.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, man.
You don't have one thing you can say about parallel universes.
Nope, not right now. Already moved on. Brain is in a different place. Cannot comprehend.
With this fucking guy, what am I supposed to do? All right, I'll give a thought. If parallel universes are real, how do you know that? Like, how are you the true you that you initially were? Linking sort of the idea of consciousness to parallel universes. How does consciousness stay with you if the universe is constantly fractaling out in all directions based on every interaction you have with electrons? How does the consciousness stay with you, or how does it separate? And who is the true you?
Yeah. Well, if it's all relative and you're just existing in your own realities, the paradox comes if you ever like travel or meet yourself.
I'm not talking about a paradox. I'm just purely talking about true, just how does the consciousness, if parallel universes are moving in every direction at all times, and each parallel universe is constantly branching off in its own direction, how do you stay you, or how does consciousness move? Is consciousness therefore infinite within you as one being, or is it constantly splitting? And would you?
Yeah, no, that's a really good one. That's a good subject to start with. I like it. I'm going to ponder it.
It wasn't meant to be something that we'd answered right now. It was meant to be.
No, that's the problem is I had moved off of the subject and I didn't want to get back into it. And that triggered me. That got me back into it.
All right. Well, do you want to get back into it? We can get back into
it. No, I am actually in a lot of pain and I got to follow up with this work stuff.
All right, Charlie, within this universe, as opposed to all the other multiverses around, Charlie seems to be in pain, so I guess we're going to sign off in this universe. But guess what? In another universe, we also need to talk about Midnight Gospel, which is a fantastic series on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's the one
you watched when you visited before, right? And I watched one or two with you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I do want to do that.
And it parallels, see what I did there? It parallels this idea of multiple universes. So with that good note, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Charlie, say goodbye to the folks.
Bye, folks.
Again, every time he takes it so literally. All right. I guess that's it for another episode of the No Fun Zone podcast. Fuck, I have so much editing to do. God damn it. I guess we'll see you guys next week. All right.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
sayonara.
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, dude, my back is fucked. I don't know what.
I just had 5 really gnarly burps, so I feel your pain. Now I'm coughing.
Yeah. All right. I'll call you later.
All right, let's talk about this weekend or something, dude.
Okay. Good luck. All right. Don't die on me. Are you okay?